responsible voting in 2000.
Like you said to Trump, but they're getting beauty.
He said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from Georgia carry that they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign.
Time for us to take a loss. This what we waited on. Time for us to take it back. This might be the last chance, and we stand on a promise that says that we can do anything. So let's man up. Ooh, let's man up. We gotta win it. There is no substitution for victory. We gotta win it. Opportunity was bought by those who pledged it all. So many of them paid the cost for future families, and we stand on a promise that says that we can do anything. So let's man up. Ooh, let's man up. We gotta win it. There is no substitution for victory. We gotta win unless we stand. We could forfeit this moment, this chance won't last forever. Ooh, this time around, we must stand and win. We gotta win, yeah. We gotta win, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to Small Town Underground. This is Roy here with you, and I got a very special guest with me tonight. And the song that you just heard was called Next Man Up by Mr. none other than Antonio Jones from Gwinnett County War Room. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Just glad, what a time to be alive.
Yep.
Man, we talk about this all the time. Thank you for having me on Small Town Underground.
Yes.
Indeed, a great podcast.
Hey, we've been talking about this for quite a while. I'm super, super excited to have you here with me, man.
Yeah.
So just before we get started, I want to send a special shout out to Jerry Paris for the great Happy Valley, Haywood Valley camp out that he did last Friday. A lot of incredible music and good times. We had a great little citronella campfire with some people that camped out. We had some great conversations through the night. It was a lot of fun, and Jerry did a really amazing job on the stage and the music and the PA. So we really appreciate him and look forward to more events out there. So appreciate you, Jerry. And I just want to send a special shout out to my buddy Matt, one of my best friends. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to you, Matt, if you're out there watching. So how are you doing?
Hey man, I'm just trying to navigate through the crazy, all the wild stuff that's going on.
Yes.
I know we're gonna get into that tonight.
That's right.
With your audience and everything like that. A bunch going on, most consequential election in world history.
You are
right
not
now,
kidding.
Happening during our lifetime.
Yes, and I
What a
want you
time to be alive.
I want to start. You tell us about your song. So this is the second song that you've released here this year, right? And I
Yeah.
want you to talk first and let people know about this song. You did you did this, you wrote it, and let's get it out there to the people where they can, get it out there and share it.
All right, so Next Man Up, yeah, you can find that. It should be released on all the platforms here soon. We did get it uploaded. But if you want to download it early, you can download it on gothedistanceusa.com, or you can put in the number 1 antoniojones.com. You can also download it there. We've got a few t-shirts on there. So I ask you guys if you would support it, that would definitely help us, because the more eyes and ears that come my way, that's more eyes and ears that goes on the podcast. And just like Small Town Underground, we're really trying to get out here and make a difference, help candidates, and expose light and shine light on everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
So Next Man Up is the second song that I done. The first one was Go the Distance, and we got a great video for it.
Yeah, that was good.
It turned out to be a beautiful piece of work. For me, it is a remake off of Michael Bolton's Go the Distance from the Hercules movie. But I was listening at it, and it was part of a practice session that I was doing just to try to rework my vocals and everything, since I hadn't sang in so long. And I was listening at the lyrics of that thing, and I was like, I need to do something with this. And so out of it came that.
Yeah,
That was late last year, and I've had an opportunity to sing it in quite a few different places. Shout out to Lucretia Hughes.
Yes,
That was the first place that I had ever sung the song. And she always shows and spreads love, and she has a great podcast too. And I would say we're all a part of a collective alliance that's said and unsaid to try to make a difference. But Next Man Up is actually a song that's was inspired by the great Stephen K. Bannon, Free Steve Bannon. Before Steve has put a lot on the line, just for the Patriots in general.
Yeah.
The things that he's doing right now, he doesn't have to do, but he served in the military. He loves this country. He supports America first and President Trump. So in case people don't know, they sent him to jail because he defied a subpoena that basically was unconstitutional. It was illegal. So he was like, I'd rather do time in jail.
That's right.
And rather than obey a tyrannical government. And that's what he did. So leading all the way up until an hour before I believe he had to turn himself in, he did his podcast, talking. You would never knew that he was going to jail that day. That's just how laser focused he was.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, I have been watching Steve for a while, but I want to be like that. We fear God more than we ever would fear man. But before he went in, he said, hey, hopefully I've done enough to be able to, he calls it the posse or whatever, to inspire people to get involved and fight for their country. And he said, right now, hey, it's Next Man Up. That's what
right.
it is. I mean, the show doesn't stop. It's Next Man Up. So that really resonated with me, with how much passion that he had, that he's actually was on his way to jail and put everything on the line and fought all the way to his time to turn himself in. So that kind of stuck with me. And I was like, well, maybe I should write something to this. And it took me a while. And I wrote it to my acoustic guitar. And to be honest, I really couldn't find time to finish this song because I had been working on it, I know, for at least 5 weeks. So true story, Roy. I don't know if I told you this already, but I know your audience hadn't heard it. So I work in landscaping and lawn maintenance. That's what I do for a living. I own a company here in Gwinnett County. So right after the storms and everything, I was kind of behind on my work and everything like that. So, the sun came out and it was real sunny that week. I went out, I think it might have been on that Monday. So, I'm riding one of the machines or whatever. It just stopped suddenly. Engine locked up on me. So I got a backup machine or whatever. I went out the next, I guess maybe 2 days later, the engine in that machine literally caught on fire. I mean, it almost burned the whole mower up. Just so happened, next door to one of my customers, there was a lady out there, and they was drawing little hopscotch squares or whatever on the ground, and she literally had a bucket sitting right in the garage door. And so I ran over there and I said, hey, can you help me? Can I get some water to put this thing out? So, but anyway, long story short,
Wow.
The mower caught on fire. So I was out of work. I called my wife and I said, well, I was planning on being off tomorrow, but I guess I'm really going to be off. And that was the day that the General Flynn event was. So put the mower in the shop, got it out, went out to work again, did about 5 or 6 yards. It shut off on me again. So for about 2 or 3 days in a row, that machine was out of commission. So I told my wife, I said, there's something forcing me back to the house. I said, I've done everything. I got everything done, and there's nothing else for me to do. So maybe I need to come home and finish that song. And that's what happened.
Wow.
And Next Man Up literally got finished in a matter of those 3 or 4 days. Now, the electric guitars and the rock guitars, a friend of mine out in California, he did those guitars for me. So I sent him the track, and he was like, because I had played the demo guitars, so I thought he was just going to put a few sounds over, kind of pad it up, make it sound nice. He was like, man, send that back to me. Just take all the guitars out. So he sent it back to me, man, and it was so good. The very next morning, I was up at like 9:30 in the morning. All the vocals that you hear, I redid all of those the very next day.
Wow.
And then the day after that, I mixed the song and mastered it. And that's what we got. So Next Man Up.
Man, it's an amazing song. That's how we actually kind of got hooked up when you did your first song. I didn't really know you. I'd been following your stuff, and I think you'd been following mine a little bit, and we sort of connected over that, and I was just blown away. I mean, it's super. You've got a lot of talent, man. A lot of talent. So.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And just for the record, I've sung on a lot of big stages and stuff, and for a while, I didn't think I'd never be singing again. I mean, it was just, I got saved, gave my life to the Lord, and I was into all the hip hop music, and I won't name some of the artists that probably had songs on the radio that I worked with and did material with, but there just wasn't no way I was going to go back to doing that, because there's part of the culture that's very toxic for people's minds, and especially for our children. So I really didn't think I'd be making music again, but I'm so happy that I feel like God pushed me in a position to be able to use my voice in other ways. But War Room Gwinnett County, that is priority. Right. Not the songs and all of that. That's great. We can sing them, have a great time, do some videos, push them out for the movement. But the podcast is really the priority. Just like with you, Roy. Roy, you play drums. You got a great band. You guys sound awesome together. And when I cut the song, I was like, man, you got to send this to Jerry and the rest of them. Those guys are really, really good that you play with, man. And it's an outlet for us to be able to, because you guys play Christian music and everything like that too. You have a great sound, and we have to use our talents to engage the culture.
Agreed.
And because I think there's a big void missing, and when there's a void, there's a vacuum to fill it. So,
you're 100% right. I was, we'd been talking about doing music for quite a while, and just adding to things to make it more. We get in these mundane sort of slopes where it's just nothing but speaking, and. It gets a little lackluster. I mean, I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but when you just have a an event with, hours worth of speaking, you don't have any kind of flavor. And we wanted to add some stuff to it, make it like a show, make it more fun for people. Music, it brings people together. So,
oh yeah, it's a very powerful tool.
well, I like it, man, and I'm glad that we're able to share this out. You guys check the link. We're going to put a link in the description after this live stream so that you guys can go check it out and check out everything that he's doing. And of course, Gwinnett County War Room. I mean, you've got an amazing podcast. You've got some heavy hitters that are coming on, and you guys are really exposing things and bringing out the truth. So, and how long have you been doing that? You've been...
War Room, I guess it's over 2 years old now.
Right.
But what really kind of thrusted me into doing a podcast was 2020.
Right.
It's the first time that I voted, for Trump, and I know my vote was stolen and delegitimized by all of the stuff that was going on. But let's rewind a little bit before then. I don't want to call myself a lifelong Democrat, but I had been associated in voting Democrat, but my values are conservative. And I think what's going on in the recent past right now, as many other minorities have realized that, like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't agree with all this crazy stuff that's going on over here. So many people have switched. I was one of those people. Right. I've always, all my friends, from all the way back from high school, even college and everything, they know my values are conservative. So me voting my values is nothing really surprising to people that really know me.
Right.
But during the 2020, when all the stuff started coming out and parents started seeing, man, what is going on in this school system?
Mm-hmm.
My kids they're homeschooled. The Lord has blessed us to be in a position. My wife does that. She delights in it. But many of us grew up with a public education. It's the largest line item on our tax bill.
That's right.
So why can't the kid down the street get a great education and not have all this filth being put in front of them?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to engage with some of the people that was a part of the school board movement in and around my community. So what I did, I found the guy who the search team up here, Calvin Watts, the guy's the superintendent for Gwinnett County, for the school board. I went and did the history on him, pulled up all the paperwork, had all the receipts.
Right.
So at the time, I had a little small Rumble channel, whatever. I mean, it literally probably had maybe 10 people on it. So I said, I got to do something. And then I put a video together, and, it did something like 8,000 or 9,000 plays. And I was like, wow, maybe there's something to this. So remembering all the stuff that I learned watching Steve Bannon's War Room and some other podcasters as well, I was like, there's a void here in Gwinnett County. If I learned by listening to a podcast, and I've learned that, look, my values don't associate with the way that I've been voting, and I learned a lot about geopolitics and everything just as a whole. I said, maybe I need to bring that action to Gwinnett County, because this county is going to be a consequential county for a while. It's gone and swinging more blue.
Population a million people.
Yeah, but look at this, Roy. If Donald Trump he's running for president, obviously, right now, and if he can swing the black male vote up to 50%, I think we can take this county.
But
undoubtedly, it's going to take everything that you just said. We got to engage the culture. I was talking to a friend of mine. She works with the GOP here, Denise Rumbaugh. We've got to find creative ways to engage the youth. And like I told her, yeah, we don't have to make a rap fest or whatever, but let's be honest. We're not doing her son told her, he said, you know what I think of when I see the GOP, the people that hang around it that's young look like some kid that'll get pushed in a locker and beat up. But that's his perception of the GOP.
Right.
And we got to respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't think we got swag, and things like that, because we don't wear, our character on our sleeve. But there are some things that we can do better to.
Well, I mean,
there are some things we can do better to attract the kids and get them involved. I
sure.
really
Let's
do think.
face it. The GOP. My perspective of the GOP was always country club politics, right? I mean, you know, you got to be in the club and to be a part of it. And I think that the grassroots have changed that drastically.
Oh yeah.
Over the last few years, along with the MAGA movement, if you will, and things are changing, and a lot of people don't like that either. So how are you supposed to win the hearts and minds if you don't even stand for the principles of the party, right? To attract people like you and me into it, to accept it as what it stands for, and then move forward with it, right?
Yeah,
we don't
because it's not even a age or a race thing,
right?
Like you said,
Exactly.
you pointed out something just now, just the old way of doing things. We want to hold on to the conservative values. That's God, family, and country. We want to do that. We always want to put that first and foremost. But kowtowing to being a part of the club, backroom deals, and all of this, and hey, I'm put this person on because they mean no. The next man up need to be the best man up,
That's right.
and that's how we need to, to run it.
Right. And you're a black guy, and you all these stereotypes and these tropes and everything, that's something that I think we need to overcome too, and face head on with how they try to paint all of us as extremists or racist or this and that. We're living proof that narrative is completely false. But we also, the Republican Party has to sort of I don't want to say change. They need to go back to the roots of what it really is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the things that got me on the Alex Jones show, that funny that you teed that up just now, is I was listening to Harrison Reese show one morning while I was working, and I was like, let me just go ahead and turn this on now because I'm planning on turning on Alex. He comes on
That's
at
right.
12 noon. So I went on to cut Harrison show on. So Harrison, they was talking about the hyphenated Americans and the hyphenated this. That means we got to have black, Latino, conservative. We got to have this and that. And he was like, man, we need to just do away with all these labels and stuff. And, people that know me know it. I'm very vocal about that.
Right.
We just need to come in, join the unit, and just go by a set of values, and people rise to prominence based on meritocracy. And so I was going to call in. It's like, hey, I'm going to put my 2 cents in, and ended up actually getting on Alex's show.
Right.
So,
yes,
I'm a strong
awesome,
believer in that. We need to do away with the labels.
Absolutely.
We need to go to the sticks together, just like me and you. We hang together. We don't get into what people look like and all that kind of stuff. But we need to go and put that to bed together and say, hey, no more labels. We're not going to do that in the party no more. You come over here, you're just going to be a Republican. You're going to be a conservative, but we're not going to preface it with where you come from. You want to know something about the person, you get to know them as an individual.
That's right.
That's how we get into stereotypes.
Well, that's how the left tries to control the narratives anyway, just by using the key words and the key phrases to try to make people scared and all these things. And I think we bust those narratives completely wide open. And as long as I've been doing this, and even the Second Amendment movement, race has never even came up,
No.
And it's a beautiful thing. Because why? Because we look at people as who are you? What are your values? What are your morals? What is your goal here? And we've ended up kind of fighting against our own more than anything, throughout this experience.
Oh yeah, because if we can keep you in groups, we can control you.
Exactly.
We can manipulate you and do all that, and we can stay in power.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the bottom line is, right? Power, having a seat at the table. I hear win, 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 right? And people say, well, if you don't adhere to this, or if you keep talking conspiracy theories, well, we're never going to win. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you stand on the truth, no matter how many losses there are around you, you're still going to win. I don't care about the numbers, man. We care about getting things right.
That's true. That's true. That's the elections. That's the weather. I'm getting ahead.
No, it's good. We can jump in. So let's. I want to hear what Antonio thinks. So obviously, let's start with the weather. we've got some crazy, crazy weather, and of course, our thoughts and our prayers are going out to everybody in Florida this evening because I mean, literally, I think it's I want to say about 6 o'clock was just about making landfall. So our thoughts and our prayers are going out to all the Floridians out there. This looks bad, you know. And we just got done with a really bad, you know, Helene that went all the way up into North Carolina. We've seen the pictures, we've seen the videos. It is a travesty. So let's get into it for a minute. First,
right.
Go ahead.
So yeah, you can close that. Before we get to the weather,
Okay.
we had to remind people of something. There's no more Democrat versus Republican. It's we the people versus the nationalists, not the nationalists, but the globalist establishment uniparty elites
Yes.
that want to change the world, want to have a one world government and all this other stuff so they can be all over in our business, take our stuff, we'll own nothing and be happy.
Amen.
That's what we're up against right now, and we got to accept it. There are people that are on both sides of the aisles that are participating in this, and quite frankly, they've been bought off, and they want that seat at the table that Roy's talking about.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of that same stuff in the government, in our state government. So I'm gonna go through a list of things before we get into the weather. I was going through this list earlier with Roy because he said something interesting. And he was alluding to the fact of look at all this other crazy stuff that our own government is into, and they don't want us to, you know, be critical thinkers, because that's all the word conspiracy theory it means nowadays. When I hear a person say that called critical thinking. Okay, so let me read a few of these off.
Sure.
So I put this on Facebook. I said, so let's see. Open borders, printing money, turning off our fuel supply, i.e. natural gas and oil. Lie about Russia and Trump. Tried to kill Trump. Men and women's sports. Don't know what a woman is. GMO foods. Fluoride in the water. mRNA jabs. Send our jobs overseas. Indoctrinate our children. Inappropriate materials in classrooms. And that's just some of them. But I said, but no, they won't modify the weather and weaponize it against the American people. Now just think about that for a minute.
Yep.
The globalists want power. And they will do absolutely anything to get it and or maintain it. They use these weather weapons. Was it the Ho Chi Minh Trail?
Oh yeah, back in
Vietnam War.
Mr. Livingston. Was it Bert Livingston? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is coming out.
This was part of Project Storm Fury. You guys look this up. Our government holds patents to manipulate the weather.
Yeah.
And so what they do, or what the gentleman that Alex Jones interviewed, he was one of the ones who actually flew I don't know what kind of plane it was, but it was one large liner that he flew in, but it has these dispensaries on it to where they sprayed these silver, what was it?
They cloud seeded silver iodide. So they wanted the Ho Chi Minh Trail. They wanted the government wanted it to rain on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And I was thinking about this after our phone call. So this happened. I guess he was a weather meteorologist, and they got him, and they took these planes and they cloud seeded the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and it rained. Now, get this. You've seen the movie Forrest Gump, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't think about this until after you and I spoke, but remember in the war scene where he was talking about it raining, big old fat rain, and and it rained for days and days and days. It just occurred to me when we were talking about Bert Livingston that was probably like that. They put that in there on purpose to show how much it rained, So it's not hyperbole. Go ahead.
Yeah. So 14 inches of rain after he sprayed this silver iodide in the clouds over there, and it washed the entire road out. Mm-hmm. Just let's think about Hurricane Helene. Is that what the last one we had before? When a hurricane hits land, it immediately starts to lose energy. This hurricane was 800 miles away from hitting land and had that much energy and rain. Come on, man. Something in me tells me that this is manipulation.
Well,
and we've seen some of the videos and some of the receipts that people have shown.
Yeah, we can pull up the patents, for example. Now, mind you, what you're saying and what I'm saying, you're not saying that the weather's been modified, right? What we're saying is that there's a lot of evidence or proof, not even on the contrary, that something nefarious might be going on, right? I mean, we don't know, but what we do know is that there are patents on these devices, that this went back for decades, that they've done these things before. They actively cloud seed. So why is it not even plausible to consider that option given where we're at in this nation, right?
Yeah. Well, Alex, they have confirmed 2 jumbo jet liners flying in and around that Hurricane Helene just before it turned.
Right. There you go. And then Dane Wigington has his hypotheses about the frequencies and how the frequencies were used to shift these. I mean, we don't know if that's real or not, but obviously we know that every government, partakes in weather modification, right? HARP, and other countries have HARP. I mean, is it that far of a stretch? Are we that big of a conspiracy theorist to start scratching our head at something like this? I mean,
yeah. They can do it with the next rad Doppler system.
Yeah,
is
the
what
rad
they're saying
system
too as well.
Sure. And
So the
I
same
want to
stuff that they use to read the weather, they can use to, I guess, to manipulate it is what they're
Yes.
alleging.
And I want to go back to what you said about how the government doesn't care about us, right? How this is a one world government. So let me just give a couple of examples to add to what you said, like a case in point. So if you go back just a few days, all right, talking about how, okay, well, let's leave weather modification to the side. Does our government even care? All right, obviously we know FEMA is a joke. I mean, FEMA is a joke. There's way enough evidence. You can go online and look at their,
you get $750 for a loan.
Right.
And
For a loan.
They give billions to house illegals, transport them here,
Yes.
give them $4,000 a month cash,
Right.
plus food stamps that we're subsidizing.
Case in point, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris came out, 2-3 days after all this was happening, and they gave $157 million to Lebanon, and not a single penny talking about North Carolina, East Tennessee, Georgia, whatever. Then you have FEMA saying that they are broke and they cannot afford to help these Americans out through all of these hurricanes, right? Even though we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that FEMA was responsible for giving all of these emergency supplies and money to all of these sanctuary cities that were housing illegal immigrants. It's on tape. It's on film. You can watch them say it. And then you have people like Lindsey Graham in South Carolina a few days ago talking about on TV, like as he's being interviewed. Well, I know North Carolina, they got hit hard and it's devastating. But what about the people of Israel? Just completely changing the subject. I mean, these people do not care, man. They don't care.
They don't.
That's just,
We're living with a government opposite. This is the part and parcel why the founders left and came over here, and why we even have America.
amen.
They give you, hey, here's $750. Good luck. As a matter of fact, you can't get that unless you can fill out an application. We know online on your phone. We know you don't have power to charge your phone, but hey, tough luck for you guys. Your
Right.
money's going over here to Ukraine, or it's going to
Exactly.
chop people's to do surgeries, gender surgeries in the military and all this other crazy, insane, weird stuff that they're doing.
Well, what is it now? $250 billion that have funneled through for Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
It's insanity.
I think that's their big money laundering pit.
Sure.
Over there.
But don't talk about weather modification, right? Don't be a crazy conspiracy theorist. But all of these other things are happening. But no, you guys got to go back to reality. Okay.
I guess Kamala Harris gonna get 200 million votes this time.
Yeah,
we
right.
know Joe Biden did not get 80 million votes.
Mhm.
There's no way possible more votes than, but they don't care. They just tell the lie and just keep telling it.
That's right. It's
They
100%
just
right.
keep repeating it, and they know we don't believe it,
Yep.
but they got the power, and that's what we got to wrestle back. It's like we're in a fight scene right now, and
yeah.
we're wrestling over the handgun or the shotgun right now.
That's right.
And we're gonna find out what's gonna happen on November 5th.
Oh,
That's
yes.
where we at.
That is where
Because
we're at.
this time, I was talking to my wife about this. This time, if we're able to get Trump in and across this line, he has to prosecute people and put them in jail.
Yeah.
And if he does not, I commit to you, if I got the means and the finances, I will follow him around and bullhorn him just like Alex Jones do.
That's
people.
right. Well, I can tell you, I had this conversation today. So if you look at the 2016 cabinet that Trump had, which was 110% deep state all around him, right? We had bad actors at every step of the way. In fact, I've said from the very beginning, the day that he let Steve Bannon go, I was scratching my head going, what on earth? And I really believe it was a setup. He was probably pushed out because nobody was ready to get on the level that Bannon was on, right? And Bannon, he kept true this entire time. But you look at the cabinet now that he is surrounding himself with, and I think people can kind of be at ease with J.D. Vance. I mean, if he's just talking a good game and that's it, he's incredible at that, right? But I think there's some realism in there, and a lot of people bring up the red flags about J.D. Vance not liking Trump, and I kind of welcome that. I'm like, it sounds to me like this dude really didn't like Trump, and then he got to listening to the message and listening to the America First policies and decided it was a train to get on, I don't want a bunch of yes men. All we had in 2016 was people pretending to be yes men and literally thwarting him, right? But you got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Amazing what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be doing to the pharmaceutical companies and changing our food. And you've got people like Tulsi Gabbard that's joining. All of these strong people, independent people that are all ready to get on the same page. I mean, I really think this is going to be a wild cabinet, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Definitely different than 16.
Yep. And I think
he'll
they're
get in
scared.
there. We got a clean house, man.
we have to. And
and if you're watching this is where the work begins.
That's right.
This is when it really starts, because he can't govern by himself alone. And we can't just depend on Washington. And that's why the work that Roy does with Small Town Underground, the work we're trying to do over here at War Room, Gwinnett County, is so important. So if you guys are watching this, if he has a gift, send go. Make sure you guys support him, because we have to drive around. It's a number of things, equipment. This stuff can get pretty pricey, to get it. And we would do it anyway to fight for our country. But just understand, when you guys make a contribution, it really helps us to get the word out. It lightens things up. We're spending our personal finances to fight for the country, and we don't mind doing that. But let's crowdsource this where we can. Throw something in the pot, donate a little bit to Small Town Underground every now and again. We collectively appreciate that.
Oh yeah, we do. And I'll tell you something else too. I'm just like every other American. I work for a living. We work 2 jobs. We're going 90 to nothing. But I don't expect anybody to give that doesn't have it either. But if you're somebody out there who has it, and you're somebody that wants to support people bringing truth and transparency that aren't owned, you're looking at 2 people right here. We do our own thing regardless, and we're gonna not let anybody tell us what to do. We're focusing on the truth here. We're focusing on the possibilities.
Ain't nobody gonna tell us what we gonna say on our show, what we can't say, or who to bring on. They ain't gonna tell us that. So we done said it privately and publicly.
Yep.
So people know that. You might see somebody on my show next week and you be like, oh, I heard them people don't like each other. We're not getting into that.
Nope.
If somebody has something to bring to the table and it's based in truth and they helping us push the sled forward, we're going to have them on.
That is correct.
We got to win, just like the song say.
100%. And with a little bit of this, why we have such a rift in the Republican Party and these establishment people is very simply put that when, what you said, the work is just beginning. So, Donald Trump, if he makes it through this election and he gets voted in office, right? People are not, in the Department of Homeland Security and in all these positions, they're not just gonna take the cardboard box and just pack everything up and say, well, I guess it's time to go. They're gonna fight every single step of the way. And I think, I have a theory anyway, so this is a good conspiracy for us, but I think really the reason why we have this establishment like coalition is because they don't want to fix things. They want to keep the game going because they've got too much at stake, or there's too much money involved, too much power and clout. And so really, I think they just want to, they fear Donald Trump changing so much to where they're going to, they're going to have to be a real person and do a real job, or not be able to sit in their little comfy, sit back with their hands, their feet on the desk. I think that's really what the establishment is all about. They do not want the change. They want to keep things going as a uniparty and keep that balance of power there with them. Because I can't understand any other reason why you wouldn't want Donald Trump to come in and fix everything that's wrong with this nation.
Yeah, that's true. It could be one or two things. One could be that they're in it for the money. The Bible say, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." The second reason is it's always easier to go along to get along,
yes,
than it is to stand up, be the person in the room, the one out of the 99, saying, "Hey, I think the other 99 of you guys have got it wrong. These are not our values. This is not what our founders intended. This is not what's good for our country moving forward. This is not going to build a future for our children. This is not going to keep safety prominent in our communities, in our neighborhoods."
That's right.
So people don't. It's easier because they've made friends with everybody.
Yes,
and that's one thing. Politicians, if any politicians watching this, I need you guys to remember this. You're not in politics to make friends.
That's right.
It's good when you can have friends. I'm all for that. You can go to lunch, have a cup of cappuccino, or whatever you do together. But you have to remember that as soon as that associate steps outside of the line of what is best for your constituents that they sent you there to govern and vote for them, they immediately become a form of opposition.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you have to berate them and treat them a certain kind of way, but say, "Hey, look, sir or ma'am, this does not go along with what our Constitution says," and you call them to the carpet.
That's right.
And if you can't fix it, then this is who else is on the other side of the fence that you have to now compete with.
That's right. They say Thomas Massey, he's one of my favorites, and they say he's one of the nicest guys. If you watch that Tucker Carlson interview with him, he's talking about how him and AOC actually can laugh and joke and have a good time with each other. But when they walk in that room, Thomas Massey will not budge 1 inch. He sticks right there with his values and principles and what he believes. But then, they can go right back to I kind of respect that, Oh, yeah. I respect that. Even though AOC is just, I don't know where her head's at. That's a nice way of putting it. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what we need. I'm going to tell you, we talked about this earlier, just taking Colton Moore, for example. I'd rather have Colton Moore excommunicated from, but he's standing up on that rock, right? A lot of people do not agree with that. They're like, well, he can't get anything done. No. He's doing more by standing up and creating a pathway for more of these people to get out of their shell, get out of their comfort zone and stand up for what's right. And that's what we, the people, want, and that's why we're doing this right here.
Yep. And shout out to Gwinnett Accountability Project, the ladies Lisa Rutherford and Mary Bell Hodges and others that are working hard for accountability.
Yes.
Their organization is not one that's partisan, but they are looking to hold people that are in public offices accountable. Now, they've had grades coming out on legislators in our areas and different areas. They've been doing at least one almost every other day. Been getting an email because they have Substack. I have not seen one B grade yet, not even a B minus. There's been C's, C minuses, D's, and D minuses.
Yep.
These are our legislators.
Yep.
In the state of Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we become not a mediocre state, but this is how people are voting? That answer the question is that's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
It's like you said earlier, people saying, well, you're not going to get anything done. Well, I'd rather have a guy and or a gal that's excommunicated, thrown out of the caucus for voting for the right thing, or holding people accountable, or not standing down there in that in a gold dome lying about how great somebody was or not, when they know that that's so far from the truth.
Yes.
Give me that person, because it's like entering into a bad relationship A woman, she's gonna stick with this man because he's paying the mortgage and buying groceries, but he's blacking her eye every day.
Yes.
You know, so where are you, what kind of progress are you getting?
Oh
And
yeah.
to the and let me say this, and I give you back to Floyd. And to the people that are saying that, oh yeah, you know, because the rumblings around is, you know, the governor's gonna run for Senate 26, he's gonna do this. Dude, your legislators have a C- and a D rating for Constitution. Why in the world would the people of Georgia send you to the United States Senate to represent us?
Oh
You
yeah.
have a failing grade.
Yeah.
You know,
I couldn't agree more.
that's failing leadership, and nobody should support that. Roy.
No. If you're in it just to win it, if you're in it just because you got to vote red, you got to do this. That's just blindly following the masses. You from here on out, it's no longer business as usual. If we can't get good Republican candidates that care about these grades and the way they vote and not going along with the status quo, right? Then they don't deserve our vote. They're going to have to earn our votes in order for, because I'm telling you, I'm never going to hold my nose again and vote for anybody. I don't care what color they got by them, what animal they got by them. If they are not worthy of my vote, they will not get it. And the sooner that these people understand that, the sooner that they get that and have the fear of the people that we will actually not vote. I've already done it once this year, and I will do it again. Because I'm not doing this anymore. Because the time is running out for this country.
It is.
It's obvious.
It is. Yep. And I'm not going to do it no more either.
We don't even have a president right now, right?
Yeah.
We're probably the laughing stock of the world at the moment. Our judicial system doesn't follow any laws, rules. They do whatever they want to do. They can placate all they want to. They can run the clock out, as we're going to get to in a moment. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And then we have the perfect example of Fannie Willis. I mean,
Oh yeah.
what better example?
Look at the entangled spider web that's around the judiciary.
Yes.
With Scott McAfee, who went. If you haven't seen the video that we did, a quick 10-minute splice with Bob Couvert,
Oh yeah.
saying from A to Z of how Scott McAfee went from Inspector General, who was supposed to be investigating the 2020 election fraud, to then being swooped up and appointed to Superior Court judge, I believe, by the governor. And now he has the Trump case, and he magically gets the DeKalb case, which got dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something is not right, and we'll have to have Kim Brooks and Bob Cooper come back on here and go through, because we have to go through this web of corruption here in our state, so people really understand the 30,000-foot view of what's going on, and then they'll be more probably inclined to get into the weeds that we get into, you know, election integrity and what's this bill mean. But once we introduce them to the players and show them the movement, you know, and how the game is being played, I think they'll really be inclined to get more dialed in and start showing up and say, hey, what for?
Absolutely.
You know, why are you guys doing this? Or why did you do that?
Yeah. We take election integrity, for example. I don't think any one of us, I cannot stand this little trope that the left tries to use, and these Democrats about being sore losers, or we keep bringing up election integrity, and we're hurting the election, and we're hurting voters. That is the biggest load of junk I've ever heard. I've never heard anybody. I can't think of anybody who cares more about the fact that Donald Trump, you know, lost in quotations the election than I can honestly say that people care about, hey, we've got serious issues here that we need to fix. And this was a huge Democrat issue for years upon years until this happened. And then all of a sudden, oh God, shut up about this. We can't, you know, pulling things down. They won't even utter the word election integrity anymore.
Oh no. And you know what I'm beginning to think? I guess I'm getting into a little conspiracy theory now. I'm beginning to think that there was some backroom deals and some shoulders was tapped and said, hey, you know, you guys can, you know, you can assure your power too on some levels, but this is what we have to do now. Because if you notice, our top brass many of them, if not all of them, when I say top brass, I mean governor, secretary of state, um, Gabe Sterling, Raffles, we know that whole crowd, I guess Jordan Fuchs. So there's no real appetite to get down to election integrity.
Right.
And my calculation is, why wouldn't you want to get down to the base of that, unless by chance there's somebody in that's associated with you that's benefiting from this? Because if nothing else, look at how much time has been spent on election integrity. Just go ahead and prove all of us crazy.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Just say, hey, you bunch of nut jobs. You got nothing better to do with your life but sit up on the phone and talk about how we steal in elections. Let us open this box and show you there's nothing in here.
That's right. Nobody's disputing any of the evidence, right? But they have zero evidence to give, and even during court orders and things being voted on, they still placate and run out the clock, just like they've done this past week with the Fulton County case. They did the same thing. The judge still hasn't ruled on this case yet. Well, I wonder why. Maybe because they're going to try to stretch this thing out till November the 5th, and then we've got an entire mess of an election on our hands again, and they're hoping we'll forget about this stuff. I mean, it's frustrating, Yeah,
they got the judiciary, Roy. They've got all three branches of government.
Yes.
In the state of Georgia.
Yeah, what was
and
Kim?
I said on a couple of different occasions, we're operating just kind of like a mini Washington here.
Oh, yes.
Except, we got on different colored jerseys. But the people understand that the jerseys mean nothing no more. It's we the people against the globalist establishment elite uniparty. And the club, which is the club in the state of Georgia.
Yes.
There's some people that have sold out and bent the knee. We won't get into no names, but that effectively killed off a lot of the momentum. They still had momentum for the election integrity movement. So I want people to think that it just totally died. No. But I mean, it was on fire at one point.
Yeah, and it got real close. It got real close to burning some leg hairs, and then we kind of saw what happened, right? They got too close to the fire, and all of a sudden there were some threats and some veiled threats coming through, and some shutdowns and whatnot. And I love that what Kim Brooks said. If the fastest way to become a judge in this state is to talk about election integrity, right? Because that's happened several times, and we commend her and Bob and all these people, because that book that they released out to everybody. I mean, it's amazing when you start looking through all of that and seeing the emails and seeing the coordination and just right there in your face. And I believe too the SEB meeting, which I haven't been able to sit down and watch it in full, but I got to hear a lot of it today. So just as a little bit of recap, sometime during the meeting, Janelle King had motioned for Janice Johnston to become the vice chair, and I guess it was right before lunch, but they took a vote, and she became the vice chair of the SEB. And then I guess it made old Waffle King so mad, he just left the meeting and didn't come back after lunch. So I thought that was pretty funny.
But what's interesting to that? Here it is, folks. And I know that the people in your audience is very smart. They already know this. So this for person that might be clicking on Roy's show, that might be a hater or whatever, some leftist lunatic. And for people in the party. This is the guy that was appointed by the governor.
Yes, he was.
Who has been the biggest, in my humble opinion, the biggest blocker for election integrity processes to be passed by this state election board.
Oh, yes.
So the next question is why? You put this is your guy, Kemp. This is your man's, as they would say. This is your man. So and some organizations have been running around on stage saying that, Kemp's is a great, Josh McCoon too. Great, he's done a great job. And what? The people want election integrity because it sits at the foundation of why the founders started this country.
Right.
It was because they wanted to be able to get rid of tyrants or people that were just not fit for the job.
Well,
And this process is corrupted purposely.
just think
Go ahead,
about
Roy.
pre 2020. All right, I mean, this is not a stretch. Pre 2020, everybody used to go around freely and talk about, the elections don't really mean nothing. It's all under control. You know, George Carlin used to talk about these kinds of things when he was still alive. We all knew that it was kind of like one big social club going into all this, and now it's like, you really expect that your vote ever really mattered through any of this? I mean, like, of course, we're all realizing that this. Look at all the laws on the books and how entangled and bureaucratic this whole system is. Of course, they want you to jump through 20 hoops to make a change, right? We have people like Garland been fighting 20 years on election integrity, and it's,
Well, he got a case that hadn't been ruled on in how many years that he just filed with Totenberg?
But yeah, did they rule on that case?
That ain't been ruled on,
See?
as far as I know.
That's another case, the Totenberg case, right? It's not
So,
even been ruled on yet.
Tell me how the judiciary is not corrupted.
Exactly. We still don't have a case on the was it Fulton? It wasn't Fulton County, was it? What was the last one last Monday?
Yeah, Fulton got
It was
threw out
Fulton.
by Scott McAfee.
Okay. Now, and then was that the same case as the Dominion systems and the encryption keys, right?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Dominion encryption.
And so another, which I can't pull it up here, but I just got this sent to me about another case, going back to the last SEB meeting where they voted for to have an outside investigation into the Fulton County votes and everything. And I just got this sent to me right before we went on. This is from MDJ Online, and I don't know exactly, but it says Judge rules Kemp doesn't have to investigate state election board members, because remember, after that last meeting, all of a sudden, I think it was the Atlanta Journal Constitution had come out with that Kemp is looking at possibly removing these people, and then you had this Gazelle woman going on, Richard Maddow. I don't call her Rachel, I call her Richard. And toting about these far right MAGA extremists, and I'm like, if you would sit down and watch any of these SEB videos, which is open to the public, I mean, there's nothing in there that's even biased. It's literally like they're trying to create more election integrity, more transparency, and these people are yelling and screaming from the top of their lungs. It's the very same people that several years ago, when Stacey Abrams was forming all her groups, right? They were right there doing the same things, and guess what? Now they're silent.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm just trying to paint this picture, like they think we're crazy for doing this and talking about this and uncovering this, when it's like, no, this is how you move forward. This is where you expose the corruption, you expose this uniparty system of stealing your votes, and that's why you participate and go further with it, because we're trying to fix this, by bringing it to light.
Yeah, just tell them straight up. The jig is up on the pro wrestling.
Yeah,
That's right. We're not gonna watch you with your pro wrestling matches down to the state legislature anymore.
That's right.
Let us see your report card.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say?
That's right.
If you're not got to be average, you're a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna put you up on a dartboard, and we're gonna keep talking about you, what you're not doing, and call your constituents on the carpet so they can put the light behind you.
Absolutely.
Because that's what we got going on, Roy. And we are committing in Gwinnett County, and by way of the Gwinnett Accountability Project. That's Lisa and Mary Bell again. Shout out to them, to stay behind these legislators and keep their report card in people's faces so that people know, hey, your life is not going to get better up under these guys.
That's right.
Not going to happen. Because look at their grade. This is what they're delivering you, a C grade. Would you want some guy that's operating on you that had a C average in college say, hey, yeah, come on, I want you to fix my shoulder? You say, no, give me the guy at least with a B plus, A minus.
There you go. It's 100%. Well, what is it? Truth, transparency, accountability, right? We've been asleep at the wheel. We're wide awake now. We're embedded in this stuff, and we're not going to walk away from it. From here out, business as usual is over, and we're seeing it at a county level. We're seeing it. There's people down south, South Georgia, Nikki Lee, the Effingham, Rincon, Georgia communities. They are taking a stance. You're doing it in Gwinnett County. We're doing it up here in North Georgia. There's all people all over the place that stand up saying enough's enough. And in order to do that, we have to be active in this. We have to be a part of this, right? Because it's got to be that way. You can't just fix one thing and then turn around and walk away, because as soon as you do, it's going to go right back to the same thing it was, you know?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
All right. So I want to kind of, we'll go just a little bit longer, but I want to get your views on what do you think, you know, we talked about the weather. Obviously, you can make your own decisions about whether or not things are natural or manipulated, but one thing's for sure, the conversation is out there, and that's what we need to have. But give me your bird's eye view on November the 5th. What do you think?
I think we can be victorious on November the 5th. I think that the steal is happening with the chaos that they're, you know, and this all ties back into the not trusting the government. You know, I went through the list earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The weather is a part of that. They need chaos in order to beat us. They can't beat us straight up and down. And I believe we can and will prevail on November the 5th. But there's going to be an outbreak, probably of violence like we never seen before on some levels, because this is going to be their last cry to either we gonna wrestle the gun away from them and take them out proverbially, or they're gonna do that to us.
That's right.
And I think the Patriots, they know the numbers behind the scenes, Roy. And this is why they keep continuing to lie. You know, they rolling Jimmy Carter around here, and it's like he's like literally, you know,
Man,
like
those are
they
scary.
just pulled him out of a casket and put him in a wheelchair.
I can't believe it.
This how desperate they are, Roy.
He does not look good.
That they've lost.
Yeah.
But they have to keep on lying, you know, to try to, first they lie, and then next they cheat, like Steven Crowder says.
Oh, yes.
So I think that we can beat them, and we will beat them, but they're going to try to beat us back with whatever they can destroy between now and January 20th of 25. And we got to be ready to fight, you know, figuratively and literally, you know.
Agreed.
We got to be ready to defend ourselves and, you know, ready to become a part of what Steve Bannon says is the billets to fill. You know, that's the thousands of positions. You know, we're not working in Congress and literally in Trump's cabinet, but we are part of the American domestic army.
That's right.
And, you know, that starts in our households, in our communities. If you're in a church and the pastor is gone woke, you need to find you another church.
Yes.
You know, that's just the bottom line, because you have to feed your spirit to keep reminding yourself, because we're all human beings. So to remember that we only fear God. You know, we got an appointed time to be born, an appointed time to die. And that dash in the middle is what we're going to be judged on.
That's right.
And our whole life is predicated on being obedient, because if God knows your appointed time to live and die, it's like, what's the purpose of our lives?
That's right.
I can answer that question for you. It's that a man remain faithful to his family, to God, and whatever God is having him to do. And right now, we need men to rise for such a time as this. That's what we need.
Amen. And you know, you bring that up, the crazy conspiracy World Economic Forum. What did they say? Expect cyber attacks, expect things to get a whole lot worse. You know, I've been listening to stuff like InfoWars since back in 2004, for crying out loud. All those years, by myself listening when I'm doing things, but I have seen the progression to where we are nowadays, where we're out on these airwaves, literally talking, begging people to wake up and realize that this whole system is fixing to come crashing down on us if we don't stand up and we don't take our rightful place to protect God and our family and our country, you know? And that's where we're at. This is the clock is running out, man.
That's where we are. And see, look, the and I know I'm preaching to the choir. The system is not the problem. The problem is we've allowed for evildoers to be the ones that are running the system. Because
That's right.
keep in mind, God ordained government. Why did he ordain government? To restrain evil. But
right.
when we allow evil people to be at the behest and in control, and this is why the election system is so important, because it is the doorway to the levers of power.
That's
And
right.
if we don't fix that and take this back over, if we don't wrestle the handgun out of their hands,
Mm-hmm.
then we will never be able to go through that door and get rid of them.
Yeah.
They know, and this is completely my opinion. People that's in this state that's running Georgia, there is no way on God's green earth that any of them, you name anybody in the top brass right now, maybe with the exception of one guy, they will not win another election without those machines.
That's right.
If it was hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots, like Sam Carline, Phil Searcy, and many others have put a lot of time into getting, those guys would not ever win another election in the state of Georgia.
Agreed.
You can write that down.
Agreed. And it's really, I'm just going to say it's pathetic that we're even having to like Kamala Harris, for crying out loud. It is pathetic. The woman can't, as word salad can't, that you can tell in her eyes that she is being just thrust up there. She doesn't even want to be up there, man. She don't even want to win. I mean, I've watched enough on this woman, like she is petrified of this. And the Democrats need to take a big look at this, because guess what? You think it's bad what we're talking about, election integrity. You didn't even get to pick your candidate. You were robbed of Bernie Sanders at least twice. You've never got to pick your candidate, and that's what you're voting for. You're calling it democracy.
Yeah,
you ain't got no
democracy.
You got a mafioso that's running it, and they're going to install whoever the heck they want to. And y'all were the ones that propped up, Dementia Joe for nearly 4 years, while we had to painstakingly watch this on TV, like going, "Oh my God, I'm getting dumber just watching this stuff."
Oh yeah.
No matter what anybody thinks about Donald Trump, there is not even a comparison here.
It ain't, without a doubt.
All right. Well, check this. We got a lot of comments. I just checked them, so we're going to go through them. And wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. They like you, Antonio. All right. So we're going to go through some comments here. Now, he can't see them, so I'm going to read them out. And looks like Aaron Spears. Hello, Aaron. It's good to see you. Ashaki Nichols. Wonderful to have Ashaki with us. We're going to have her on pretty soon. Aaron says, God sure has a way of working, doesn't he? And yes, he does. Aaron says, you said it before I could type it. So many of those old country clubbers sure don't like the changing that's happening. And,
hate it.
They hate it. And, I'd like to think, especially I'm old enough now, but like we see what this is. We do need term limits and things like this, but we see this structure that they have. I wouldn't want any part of it really, but I guess I can't fathom.
It's disgusting, man. To look
It really
at
is. It really is.
You can't really. Well, I guess. One thing, my college roommate, that's I would say a leftist, that I can't agree with him. He said, "You are what you get up and do every day." And some people, they get up and they just, if they want to specialize in kissing people's rear ends and not living off, I'm serious,
It's true.
and not living off merit, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I just, we can't, we handle the football teams better than we do with politics.
Oh, we handle everything.
They want the best guy in the game that's going to win the game and do the right thing.
Put on a Super Bowl the way that FEMA could, or the state elections? It's insane.
Man.
And yeah. All right. So Nikki Lee says, good to see you, Nikki. She's going to be on the show with us soon too. She's doing wonderful work down in South Georgia. I definitely need to hook you up with her, Antonio. Absolutely. It says it comes down to what candidate will be the most rational human being as a leader. Yeah. I mean, seriously, take your emotions and set it outside and look at the issues for what they are, you know?
Yeah.
And we definitely don't have enough of that going on. Jeff Conley, good to have you with us tonight, Jeff. He says, that's right. I love that you both get to the meat of the issues. So, shoot, I think we're holding back a little bit. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Marina Sutton says, Project Popeye. Yeah, that was Project Popeye was the one that Livingston did during the Vietnam War, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So, hey, I'm sorry, grab my tinfoil hat in the background, but I mean, that actually happened, and that was back in the, 60s, 70s when they did that, you know.
Yeah.
But no, we're crazy. Let's see here.
Yep.
Marina says...
They say they had a technology. Then when you call them out on it, oh, you're crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
That's like,
You know.
that's like buying a new microphone, right? That's like a technologically advanced microphone, but I just set it over there on the table and don't use it. You know, come on, man.
Yep.
Give me a break. All right. Nikki says, what we do know is this hurricane doesn't make flipping sense. There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, you know, again, like I said, we can speculate all evening about whether there's manipulation or not, but the facts of the matter are is that those things can happen, and we're seeing some very unusual activity in you know, the Gulf hurricanes. I mean, did you see the video, Antonio, of the tornadoes that were hitting?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
I saw
God. I was
saw
like,
'em.
Florida? You know, that's pretty wild to see that.
Oh, yeah. Now, if that Helene had hit Florida, you know, you figure the panhandle is maybe not as wide in some areas. You expect, you know, part of it to get clobbered, or you expect like the Georgia down around the ports to get clobbered. But 800 miles inland,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
that's something ain't right, Roy.
Something ain't right. I mean,
Something ain't right.
hey, I've watched every Greg Reese video that he's released in the last couple of weeks, and you know, it gets me thinking. Last time I posted a Greg Reese video, I opened a show with it. I immediately got kicked off and got a strike. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No,
tonight.
he the target.
He's over the target.
Greg Reese reports, man, he be having the receipts and everything.
Yes, you ain't kidding. All right. Nikki says, have no fear. The FEMA crats arrived on the scene in North Carolina to help hurricane victims fill out the forms. Whew, the videos coming out of that are insane, y'all. I mean, I know y'all have seen them, but Aaron says, thank you for what y'all do. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for, you know, sticking with us, man. Gwinnett War Room County, Small Town Underground. We're going to keep this thing rolling, so... Richard Schroeder says, heck, most have committed treason. Amen. And Richard,
Yes.
I saw the video of you today at the SCB, and just want to send a special shout out to Richard, man. Always there, always fighting, him and his lovely wife. And man, it fills my heart up to know we got people like that just won't stop, you know.
Dedicated.
Big time.
shout out to Richard.
Yes. Aaron says they want to keep their high horses. 100%. Marina Sutton says, thank you, Marina, for participating. She says, yes, I've met so many people involved in politics afraid to rock the boat or make someone mad. It's just sad. Yeah. Well,
People got to grow up, Roy. I know we done had offline conversations about this. It's time to grow up, man, and worrying about, oh, this person don't like me, or this person, you know, we don't have to be disrespectful, but we have to be honest.
that's right.
You know, we're gonna do the right thing, hold people accountable, or we're just not gonna have a country.
Amen to that.
That's where we're gonna be.
Man, keep the drama and all that stuff out, right? There's a time and place for everything, but the focus needs to be on what are we doing? What are we doing every day when we get up to make this country a better place, to make this country a better place for our kids or grandkids, right? And
It
that's
definitely ain't gonna get better with that crowd that's waking up every day saying elections is about the future.
Yeah,
Right. Forget about so that all the work that Richard, Field and Cersei, Kim Brooks, you know, the Georgia nerd, just everybody, Bob Couvert, Jeff Fulgham, Joe Rossi, Kevin, all these people. Oh, elections about the future. So I guess you just told all those guys to go and pound sand. There was nothing wrong with the last couple of elections, and we know they've probably been corrupted way
hey,
before then.
They got
But
the
that's,
book
that's
now.
the crowd that's gonna get our butts kicked right there.
Yep, you ain't kidding. I said this. I've said it many times. If Donald Trump, and you can still go look. Every time I turn on the news, I cannot stand listening to them talk about polls for starters. But every time I look, Georgia is always a purple. Georgia's always. It's never one or the other. It's always one of them swing states. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Donald Trump loses this election in Georgia, it is only going to be because of Republicans. It ain't going to be because of the Democrats. It'll be because of our own Republicans.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just leave that there. Richard Schroeder says Colton Moore is one in 56 state senators that stood with Trump instead of Fani Willis. That's a bad ratio. Yeah,
Man, it's terrible.
it really is. And
It's terrible.
that should be a huge, huge fear in all of the. I mean, I figured we'd do a lot better, man, in the primaries. That we would have gotten some better people, to remove some of these incumbents. But that sure didn't happen. But we got a long way to go. Marina says a lot of people want to run for office. They come in and think they have the know-how to establishment folks who've been in office for decades. Well, that's exactly the truth. I mean, you think about it. You come in as an outsider freshman, and they're just waiting to pick the flesh, man. They're going to take you out and wine you and dine you and put you right in your place and tell you exactly how you need to vote and who you need to buddy up with before you can even utter a word.
Yep.
We
You
know
wanna get
that's
something
happening.
done. They coming with it.
That's right. Richard Schroeder says Charlize Byrd is one in 180 state reps that stood with Trump instead of Fani Willis. There is a terrible swamp against Trump and us. Amen.
Yep, it is.
Let's see. Zachary Brandenburg, good to see you, Zach. He says, if we lose in November, might as well consider ourselves toast. Well,
Oh yeah.
it's definitely going to be a different world, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't even getting into geopolitics.
Go ahead, just get you a Winnebago or something. If we don't win in November, get you a Winnebago.
Yep, there
or
you
a
go.
Big sports utility vehicle that you're gonna have to live out of, because it's gonna be like the Mad Max
Yes.
in every way you can look.
You ain't kidding. Zach says, I met Scott McAfee at a YR social a while back. He told his story. It didn't quite make sense. Things weren't adding up. Well, of course not. Of course not, man. And then he put, yet Hillary and Stacey Abrams yelled fraud and voter opposition when they lost in 2016, 2018. Of course. It's a huge flip. Nikki Lee says, Kemp is not Americans first. Look at what has happened with the Georgia aquifer and the Hyundai plant. He is giving 12 million gallons of pristine water to a foreign company and making Georgians drink polluted water from the Savannah River. That's going to be the mic drop comment of the evening. So
It is. We need to talk. We need to cover that probably a little bit more.
Oh
I
yeah,
need to
well,
find out
I'm gonna get you
more
hooked up
about
with
that.
Nikki, and she's coming on the show. I'm gonna try to get her. I hadn't got to reach out to her yet, but I'm gonna try to get her very soon. And we're gonna be covering a lot of this, but you're gonna love her. And the work that she is doing down there with a lot of other people in their communities is outstanding. And I've got links to give you. Man, Nikki is one of us, and she is fighting tooth and nail down there in that area. So we really do appreciate her. And let's see. Zach says, stall tactics. If you know, you know, I know. Oh, yeah, we'll show that picture in a minute. Richard says, these politicians cannot win without the Dominion machines selecting them, especially Rapid Raffy. Yep, that's what you said.
Rapid Raffensburg.
Nikki Lee says they're delaying this trial, hoping the Biden regime cheats and wins again so they can avoid being held responsible for election integrity. Well, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I got a laugh for Waffle King. That's what I call him. I know his name now, John Ferber.
The
But
Waffle King.
yeah,
I
he's the
think
Waffle
Jason
King.
Frazier be calling him that too.
And I gave him some money this morning. You know, we went and ate breakfast at the Waffle House, but I was like, he's Waffle King to me. Richard Schroeder says he's crooked as a dog's hind. Well, obviously. Now, you know, I did get to watch the part of the SEB where I guess the director came in, and boy, he had some good things to say too. He's actually been looking into some of this stuff and researching for himself, and he made Miss Gazelle pretty mad. It was. We'll have to. I'm gonna try to cut some of that out and put it out. Let's see. Richard Shorter says, "No shame on Judge Amy Totenberg." Amen. I mean, this is.
They ain't too bad. They ain't got no shame, Richard.
No.
Unfortunately,
They don't.
We move off convictions. The good Lord tell us what's right, what's wrong, and I ain't saying I don't want to go too overboard with that statement, but
Yeah.
there is no way that a person with a brain stem nowadays does not know what's going on in our country and in the world. They should be looking for situations to where they can make the right decision to do the right thing. And I don't see it.
It's not even that hard.
It ain't that hard. Just pull it up, say, hey, here it is, and let the evidence show what it is. But it go back to that club thing and the interconnectivity of our state being corrupted in a lot of different ways. Otherwise, it'll be like a piece of cake. It's like, I'm just the messenger. I just let this be revealed in my courtroom. I have no bearing on what the evidence says. It says what it says.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't even get that.
No.
Roy.
Hey, we get told by the Democrats, oh, we need abortion. It's women's rights. Women choose their own body. We have too many people in this world. We have to abort all these babies. And then they turn around a month later and Chuck Schumer comes out and says, well, why we're bringing these immigrants in and these dreamers in because people aren't having babies anymore like they used to, and we've got jobs. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I have to listen to this, and you're trying to tell me this? Like, you're just turning my brain into mush, you idiots. I mean, it's totally corrupt. Totally. Yep. All right, let's see. Let's get on to the comments. Yep. Yeah, Richard Maddow. I call her that because Mark Dice started calling her Richard, and, she looks like a Richard. So, Nikki Lee says, the head of the EPD, who was also appointed by Kemp, is compromised. Look at the biolab explosion. Oh, yeah, what happened today? That investigator's death. Yes, that investigator's death immediately after his testimony is highly suspicious. So she's right, that 11 alive, and I didn't get a chance to post it, but boy, that's some rabbit holes we can go down.
Yeah, that's very interesting because didn't the daughter's boyfriend died in the car, and then somebody from the investigation, the GBI or somewhere, died too?
I believe so, 100%. I'll see if I can post that link too, but the 11 alive link that Nikki's talking about, where it was the soil expert, I think, it went down to testify, and then he collapsed
sound like
dead.
He's been hanging out with the Clintons or something.
Yeah.
The guy hangs himself, then after he hangs himself, he shoots himself in the head.
Right, absolutely. Let's see. Richard says Trump brings in tens of thousands while Biden can't fill a high school gym. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Let me go through. Let's see. When her Aaron says when her teleprompter went out, all she could say was 32. Yeah, I mean, we could go all day long about, man, she got ripped up in a 60-minute interview like yesterday. I watched some of the highlights of it. She can't even answer. Terrible. She can't even answer a question, man.
It was terrible.
Zero policies. And then she's got drinking a beer with what's his name, idiot on late night.
That was awkward too.
Yes. It's Nikki says we need to vote all incumbents out. That's right. You know what? And like I said, the time of holding your nose and voting because that's your duty and your job. We ain't doing that no more. It's time that the people take the power back and our power.
Wait a minute, you skipping too far over this beer situation. So when that sitting on the television drinking a beer made somebody relatable, like to the average American?
Well, what's her name did that? Pocahontas or whatever they called her. Remember that one video she made? You know who I'm talking about. She was running for president. She's the one that claimed she was an Indian, and she did the "Let's have a beer with my husband."
Nikki Haley.
No, it wasn't Nikki Haley. It was she's blonde with glasses. I can't even remember her name. What did the Indian name that Trump calls her and stuff? I can't remember. But I mean that was already done. Like, how are you gonna recycle that on TV? Like, people are gonna buy that? That's ridiculous.
Oh, look, this is after done that thing. Oh, look, I'm drinking a beer. Yeah. I'm relatable. Like,
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Everybody knows Donald Trump won 2020. You're 100% right. A lot of folks in other states have been falling from behind or asking about the SEB. I've kept up with it and glad people are seeing it. Yeah, it's been an amazing ride. Sally Grubbs. I had put a clip or had something clipped out for Sally, and I never got to finish it. But man, I watched hers from the last SEB meeting, and she was pretty much on fire. I don't even know the woman, but like listening to her, like like with her case, I was blown away. I mean, she was kind of on fire. Not the one yesterday, but the last one. But I give shout outs because wow,
Sally is very articulate and very smart,
and
lady from what I know.
She was getting them at every turn. She was getting them, and I was just like, man, I might try to see if I can release that. Let's see.
She was.
That
like she laid it out so good. It was like anybody would have voted for what she asked for.
Yeah. David Mabe says, you want a rabbit hole, look into Albemarle Corporation, North Carolina. I'll have to write that one down. Probably would be a good rabbit hole. I've been down the one about the lithium in that not cherry blossom or something, but
it seemed like this stuff is occurring in mountainous areas. Maybe not all the time,
right?
But a few places that I've seen it being mined from, it looked, of course, it's like a rock deposit or something, but it's been kind of like around those areas.
Yep. But let's see. Nikki Lee says the car explosion for Kemp's daughter's boyfriend. Ooh, okay. Got you. Yeah. Was it Pocahontas? I think it was Pocahontas. So Elizabeth Warren, that's who it was.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, Pocahontas. That's right. That's what Richard says. And Zach says Sally is great. And she really blew my mind on that. I'm gonna have to release that. I'm gonna finish it up. And Richard says, don't argue with Sally. I don't think I would want to, but it was pretty dang good. So
yeah.
Get Sally on the show. Sure. We can get Sally on the show.
Sally Grubbs has a pretty bright future. I'll say that. She has a lot of potential. And another one too is I think Marcy McCartney does a good job.
Absolutely.
Over there in the care. I've been to some of her meetings, just like a fly on the wall. She does a good job over there. She does.
Yeah, we got a lot of good ones, man. David Mabe, he posted the link. Thank you for posting the link. I'll make sure to share it with Antonio as well. And that's all the comments we're going to get to tonight because we already getting out of time.
Maybe we should do sometimes on some nights. I'm thinking about doing this too on War Room to where we take calls.
Yes.
Kind of like Alex do, get an audience a chance to chime in and give us their analysis, of certain stuff.
I just had to go to Verizon today, and the guy was showing me because I was going to buy another phone and do that. I want to use my phone, right? And the kid was showing me, he's like, do you know what this One Talk is? And I'm like, no, I don't know. And it's something that comes with a feature for the business line where you got a whole separate phone number on your phone, and you can use it just like a phone and all that. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect. You could put
what kind of numbers they getting on that right now?
I will.
Let me know.
I will. I'll let you know because we have the business line here, and I didn't even know I had it. And he showed me how to log in. He's like, "You got your own phone number. You can use it on your computer. You can use it on your laptop. Whatever you want to do." And it's just a free number. And I was like, "You're telling me this don't cost anything?" And he's like, "Nope." Well, there we go. Yeah. Now I have an open number to use. Because I would love to do that. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I wonder if I can do it because I've got Google Voice numbers.
Yeah.
I might have to set one up on my laptop.
Yeah, man.
And patch it in to the system and do some calls.
Yeah, like just do a dedicated call-in night, like the Fridays or something. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we'll think of something like that.
Yes.
Roy.
Well, Antonio, I want to give you the last word. So you just tell everybody first. I want you to tell them how they can find you. And I know a lot of our viewers are the same, but for the new ones that are coming on, because this was hot tonight, man. People are here with us. So you tell them how you can find you, and you get the last word.
All right. So you guys can find me on X and all the social media platforms. Just put in the number 1 in Antonio Jones. That's my website too as well. Number 1 AntonioJones.com. Make sure you download the song Go the Distance and Next Man Up. That one I just released, and I want to leave you guys with this. Just be encouraged, stay engaged. For those of us that are Christians, we have to remember that we win this thing anyway. You know, our whole life that we have, that we live in right now, it's about showing God that we're going to be obedient and do what he tells us to do. I mean, that starts in our own personal lives. That starts in our homes, you know, raising good children, respecting our neighbors. And that extends outside of the household. Some of us are not going to run for office. Some of us are not going to do a podcast. But what you can do to show your human agency is to support those who are. Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard. Be outspoken. When you don't know which direction to go in, you know, you stay in prayer. Pray for discernment. Consult with people that care about you and that you trust, and they trust you, that are going to be honest with you, and sometimes tell you things that you may not want to hear. You know, those things are good for us too as well. Make sure you continue to support Small Town Underground. Follow our show over at War Room, Gwinnett County. And if you haven't saw the hit from Alex Jones, you can find that pinned on my X account, I believe. But it's on probably most of my social media
Yeah,
platforms.
it's great. It's great.
Yeah. And I appreciate Roy, appreciate what you're doing, man, and having me on here tonight. And we'll have to get together sometime and maybe just play some music
Oh,
or
that would be
something
great.
like that. So thank you again, and I really appreciate your audience here, and appreciate them supporting you.
Well, thank you, man. I just want to say how blessed I am that our paths are crossed and that we've been able to connect so well and support each other, because it's people like you that make the difference. It's people like that comment and support our work, and they know where we're coming from and who we are. And that's what keeps me going, right? That's what, the times where I just want to take this stuff and just chunk it off in the floor and forget about it.
I've been there.
I get another fire lit, and it's people like you and being able to talk to you and confide, and I just appreciate our friendship, and I look forward to growing, and I can't wait to see you on InfoWars again. That was amazing, and you do amazing work.
Oh yeah,
And,
next time we're gonna take the whole squad. I might just do like, I don't know. Let's just see how many people we're gonna take. All the firebrands on there.
That's right.
Probably be you, Lucretia, some of the people.
Lucretia, man.
Some of the people from our election integrity movements. Just just give them a whole thing, and then we're gonna do a whole breakdown on the corruption in Georgia, and just send a shot across the bow. Let them know that we ain't going nowhere. The old party is dead. We returning back to our values as God, family, and country. We're gonna put our family first. We're gonna put our country first. That's what this all about. The backroom deals and all of that. We got one goal, and that's to get rid of people that are selling out the people of Georgia and this country.
That's right.
And we're not gonna stop until we get rid of you in the office capacity.
Yeah.
Not non-violent. So let's say that.
That's
we're gonna
right.
try. We're gonna come at you hard. We're trying to get you out of here.
That's
you
right.
know? And if you make a turn and you do what's right for the people, we'll be your biggest supporters.
That's right. That's
But if
all
not,
we care
we're gonna
about.
be your biggest nightmare. That's from anybody in the top brass all the way down. That's the work that we got.
I think if Kemp and Raffensperger decided to just come on out and say, here's your Fulton County tabs, let's look at this together, let's honor this letter.
Yeah.
Where's this letter? Let's honor this letter that was sent to Joe Rossi that I have a copy of right here. If they were to come out and say, let's just come clean, let's fix this thing, guess what? I'd be their biggest supporters, but you ain't going to run a state like this.
We will be elated.
Yep.
We'll plaster your picture around and tell everybody how great you are.
That's right.
We'll be the first ones to do it, because we just want the best for our kids' future and for this country.
That's
That's
right.
all we want.
100%. So we're going to go out here with our out is going to be the rest of the song. We're going to play that. I want to say I'm having a special live extravaganza this weekend. Friday night, Mark Swanson is going to be live in studio with me. He's got some very, very important election information to share out of Floyd County, as well as a couple of new things and some resolutions that we're working on. Saturday night, I'm going to have Michael Anthony on the show from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Me and him have been talking and following each other for a while, and I'm scheduling some more. But it's going to be an extravaganza weekend to get everything done before election. So you guys keep us in your prayers. Antonio, you just hang tight. I'm going to play this outro, and I'll come back to you. And thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the comments. Please like and help me share it out to groups, and keep supporting Small Town Underground and War Room Gwinnett County.
Hey, it's next man up.
That's
Let's go.
right. All right, you guys. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you Friday.
To shine for victory. We gotta win it.
Legislature legalized unverifiable voting in 2000.
Like you said to Trump, but they're getting beauty.
They said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from Georgia carry that they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign.